Today we're going to talk about one of the great modern business tragedies. It's the story of a company so big, so dominant, that its name literally became part of our language, and how it completely missed the boat on the very future that it invented. So yeah, let's dive in. Okay, so to really get the scale of this collapse, you have to see just how big they were. At their peak, back in 1996, Kodak was a titan, an empire valued at an insane $28 billion. They weren't just another company, they were a true institution.
And that's what leads us to the central question here, the unbelievable irony of it all. How in the world does the company that invented the digital camera end up being completely destroyed by it? That's the mystery we're going to solve.
All right, so to really get how this all went down, we got to go back, way back. See, before the fall, Kodak pretty much was photography. For more than 100 years, they weren't just selling you cameras and film, they were selling you your own memories.
Just look at this timeline, right? It all starts back in 1888 with the first camera for everyday people. Then you've got Kodachrome film in the 30s, which brought the world into beautiful color. By 1976, get this, they had over 85% of the camera market in the US. Their dominance felt totally untouchable, all the way up to that peak valuation in '96.
And their impact on culture, it was just massive. The phrase, a Kodak moment, actually became a common saying. It meant a special moment, something you had to capture forever. They were woven into the fabric of everyday life, which is exactly what makes their downfall so mind-blowing. But this is where the whole thing just takes a nosedive. Because the thing that killed Kodak, it wasn't invented by some rival in a garage. Nope, it came from right inside their own labs.
Think about it. 1975, a young engineer at Kodak, a guy named Steve Sasson. He builds this thing, and it's the world's first digital camera. I mean, it was big and clunky, it took forever to take a picture, and the quality was terrible. But it was the future, and Kodak had it first.
So what happened? Why didn't they jump on it? Well, when Sasson showed it to the bosses, they were basically like, "That's cute, but no thanks." And this quote, this says it all. The top brass decided to protect their incredibly profitable film business instead. They didn't see digital as an opportunity, they saw it as a threat to their moneymaker. What happened to Kodak is literally the textbook example of this famous business theory every leader should know. It's called the innovator's dilemma, and it perfectly explains how being super successful can actually blind you to your own survival. So, what is the innovator's dilemma? Well, the idea is that great companies often fail precisely because they do everything right. Sounds crazy, right? But they listen to their best customers, they pour resources into their most profitable products, and in doing that, they completely miss the next big thing. Because at first, that new thing looks kind of clunky and not very profitable. And this chart, man, it just lays it all out. Look at it from their perspective, right? On one side, you've got your film business. That's your cash cow. High profits, amazing quality, and millions of customers who have to keep buying more film from you. A brilliant business model. On the other hand, you've got this new digital thing. The quality's kind of bad, the profits are a total question mark, and who's even going to buy it? You can totally see why they'd stick with what they knew. It seemed like the smart business move at the time. But here's the thing. By clinging so tightly to the present, they completely gave away their future. And that hesitation, that paralysis, well, it created this huge opening, and their competitors were more than happy to pounce. And wow, when the shift happened, it was fast and it was brutal. Just look at this. Film sales, they just drop off a cliff. And at the exact same time, digital cameras just explode. It was this massive tidal wave, and Kodak saw it coming, but they just stood there on the beach and let it wash them away. So, who actually won the digital race that Kodak started? Well, you had companies like Canon and Sony jumping in. Even Fujifilm, Kodak's old rival in the film game, they actually managed to pivot. And then, the real killer blow? The smartphone. Suddenly, everyone had a pretty darn good digital camera right in their pocket. And the end result? Well, it was inevitable, wasn't it? After watching a market they literally invented get taken over by everyone else, the giant finally fell. In 2012, it was official. Eastman Kodak filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So, why are we talking about this today? Because this isn't just some old business history story, right? The Kodak saga is a timeless, powerful lesson for anyone in any company in any industry. It's a cautionary tale about what happens when you get too comfortable and stop looking ahead. So what are the big lessons here? First, being stuck in your old ways, that corporate inertia, it can literally kill you. Second, you can't be afraid to disrupt yourself. You gotta be willing to cannibalize your own successful products because, hey, if you don't, someone else is gonna do it for you. Third, chasing short-term profits can make you totally blind to a huge disruption coming your way. And finally, and maybe most importantly, when your own team invents the future, you really, really need to listen.
And that kind of leaves us with one big question, doesn't it? When you look around at the huge companies today, the giants of tech, of media, whatever, do you think they've learned from Kodak? Or is this just a cycle that's doomed to repeat itself whenever the next big thing comes along? Something to think about.